How to stop being that jealous girlfriend. Let's face it, being jealous, showing signs of jealousy, it's not attractive. For both men and women in relationships, when someone is showing signs of jealousy, when they start doing silly things from feeling jealous, which we can relate to, I think so many of us, this feeling that can take over us, this feeling that makes us feel like we've lost control. Sometimes we can be disruptive. Sometimes we can do petty things just because our boyfriend has looked at another attractive woman. When we experience jealousy, it makes us feel uncomfortable. We lose ourselves in this emotion. And I know in the past, I've suffered from jealousy a lot, and it's made me do so many silly things in the past to the point I've had to break up in relationships. I've had guys who've had to run away from me because I did not know how to control this emotion. So I've done a lot of work since then, and finally I've come to a place where I feel like I'm at peace with who I am. And it will take a lot for me to feel disrupted, to get jealous in a situation, in a relationship dynamic in particular. In this video, I want to share with you 6 ways that you can stop being that jealous girlfriend so that you can attract and be in a more harmonious relationship where you haven't lost yourself in the relationship and experiencing these horrible emotions that jealousy can take over, so that you are more in control. So let's get straight into it. There's 6 points. But first of all, let's try and understand jealousy. What is it and why do we experience it? Well, we experience jealousy when we feel usually threatened that we're going to lose something. It's the fear of losing something. Sometimes we experience jealousy when we think that something else is better than us. And most of the time, this is like a hit to our ego. When we experience jealousy, it can lead us to want to control a situation so that we don't lose that certain thing that we feel jealous about. So we don't want to lose our partner to a person. So we end up doing silly things, controlling them, being possessive, obsessing over them, monitoring their behavior, all of these things. This is what jealousy can make us do. And a little bit of jealousy, I believe, is cute in a way, in a relationship dynamic, because it shows that somebody actually cares. And we can all experience it from time to time when we really care about someone. But it becomes unhealthy when we act on the jealousy and start behaving in a toxic way. And that's what we need to work on. So the first thing is, point number 1, how to stop being that jealous girlfriend, is to work on yourself. This is so important. Jealousy stems from insecurity. When you don't feel good in who you are, that's when we're most likely to be threatened by other people. That's when we're most likely to feel that someone else is better than us. Jealousy is more about you more than it is about someone else. It's the feelings that we are experiencing. And it stems from having low self-worth and low self-esteem. And I know this can be a bit tricky to understand, because when we experience jealousy, we always look at external things that's causing us to feel jealous. So often when so many of us feel jealous in situations, particularly in relationships, is because we don't feel good in who we are as a person. We don't believe in ourselves, and our self-worth is very, very, very low. And that's when there's chances of us feeling insecure and threatened when there's an attractive lady flirting with our partner. We're most likely going to feel more at risk of feeling jealousy in these kind of situations. So I'll give you an example. I know that I felt growing up as a teenager and growing into an adult, there was a period of time where I felt very insecure about the way I looked, my body shape. I felt like I needed to fit into the society standards of beauty, standards back then, the ideology of beauty, and I fell into that trap. So I was very insecure, and this actually reflected on the relationships I was having at that time, I was always feeling insecure about the way I looked. And every time my boyfriends at that time would maybe look at another woman, I always used to start thinking the worst case scenario. Oh, he likes her more than I do. It's because she has a better shape than I do. It's embarrassing to admit, but this is what insecurities can make you feel like. When you don't feel good in who you are, you automatically think the worst, especially in a relationship, and you begin to feel jealous. And I remember not feeling good enough in a relationship, feeling jealous, doing silly petty things, being destructive, not knowing how to manage my emotions, to the point there has been situations where I had to end the relationship because I did not feel secure in who I was, but I was trying to find reasons. It's because of external reasons. It's because my boyfriend prefers this woman. She's more attractive than me because she's got a better body than me. That was BS. In hindsight, I can look back and realize that it was all because of my own insecurity. It had nothing to do with my boyfriend checking out these women, because in most of the situations, they were just very innocent, passing by situations that I was overreacting towards. That all started changing when I started doing the inner work, when I started building a relationship with myself, spending time alone and figuring out who I am. Who is Rosina? I am more than what I look like. When you start working on yourself and personal development, this is the best investment you can make. You'll notice that things that used to bother you, they no longer bother you, because you've actually increased your standards. You've become more of a high value, which means you're not going to waste your time, especially if someone's trying to intentionally make you jealous. You just won't entertain that. The next thing, point number 2, how to stop being that jealous girlfriend, because we don't want to be that, right? It's not attractive. Nobody really likes that. Point number 2 is to practice detachment. What does this mean? This means that so often when we really like someone, it can be so easy to obsess over this person. We think they're really important. We put them on a pedestal. We think that we can't live without them. We start adopting this kind of mentality. And you know what? Sometimes we've been brainwashed from a very young age, from the movies, from the novels that we've been reading, that we need someone in our life to complete us. That we have a missing part in our life until we find that one person. So because of that reason, we can sometimes get attached to people, attached to the idea of relationship. We start obsessing over someone who we really like, and we can force situations. We can try and persuade someone to be with us. And it was Buddha, I think, who said, all our suffering comes from attachment to things and situations and relationships, all of these things. And this is what can cause jealousy. This is what can cause us to feel uncomfortable and the fear of losing someone. When we feel attached to a situation, to a relationship, to a person, this is when we will fear losing that person. And that's the reason why we will experience these emotions of jealousy and start doing silly things, start obsessing over them, start controlling them. What usually happens when we behave like this is that the person is going to run away. Think about it yourself. I don't know about you, but it's so unattractive when you come across someone who's needy, who's always like, please love me, I can't live without you. Usually we would run away from people like this, right? Well, most of us, I think. We need to stop that scarcity mindset and adopt an abundance mindset. What does this mean? Abundance mindset means where we know that if this does not work out with this person, if this person is mistreating me, if this person is purposely making me jealous, flirting with other women right in front of my eyes, start believing that there's plenty of fish in the sea, which there are. There's a billion people, there's billions of people in this world that you could potentially be compatible with. When you start adopting this abundance mindset, you're no longer going to feel attached to a situation, because you are going to start to think like, if this doesn't work out, that's fine. I give it my best shot. But if this person is disrespecting me, if we are not compatible, that's fine. There's plenty of fish in the sea. It can work with someone else. And this is what is going to make you react less in a jealous way, start obsessing over someone, you'll stop trying to force a relationship. You stop trying to convince someone, because you know whatever's meant to be in your life, you shouldn't have to convince, you shouldn't have to force. It will come with ease. And this, by adopting this kind of mentality, you'll start living in a more peaceful, less stressful way. Point number 3, how to stop being that jealous girlfriend, to stop overreacting over things that can really trigger us, is to stop comparing yourself to other people. The minute we start comparing ourselves to other people is the minute we feel like we are not good enough. Now, some comparison can be good, I agree, in particular when we find inspiration from people. So for example, if someone has lost a lot of weight and we're trying to do the same thing, and they've used this specific weight loss regime or routine, maybe that can inspire us to do the same. But when we compare ourselves to the point where it's making us feel rubbish about ourselves, where it's decreasing our self-worth, where we feel like someone else is better than us, that's when it is damaging. And that's when it will cause us to feel jealous and envious of other people, in particular in relationships. I know I've been that jealous girlfriend when I used to feel like my partner at the time or boyfriend is checking out really attractive women. I used to feel like I'm not pretty enough, attractive enough. And of course, these were my own insecurity. He wasn't actually thinking that. It's me. I was thinking that about myself. I was comparing myself to other women and not feeling good enough. And that's what we need to work on. I know it can be hard. And I know sometimes, especially in today's day and age with social media, we're bombarded with so many images and people's life being perfect. But understand that all of that, most of the time, they're not real, filtered, etc., etc. But most importantly, understand that you are unique. There's only one of you. Okay, there's nobody else in this world like you. And it's time you embrace that. It's time you accept that. Because when you truly accept yourself, that's when you allow other people to accept you. When you embrace your imperfections, when you embrace your quirkiness, your weirdness, that's when somebody is going to love you for exactly who you are. Strangely enough, I know sometimes we can get into that mentality, be in our own head, that who's going to like me like this? I'm so strange and weird. But you know what? I can guarantee you somebody would like the things about you that you think are weird, that are abnormal, strange. Somebody is going to actually love that. I've experienced that many times in my life. When I finally decided to accept myself, I realized that, you know what? Guys actually like this about me. They like the fact when I'm being authentic, not trying to be someone else. And that's what makes you look magnetic. It's when somebody embraces their true self, embraces the imperfections. This is a game changer. This is what's going to make you very attractive. You're less likely to feel jealous because you understand that you are on your own path. You are your own person. You're not trying to be someone else. Everyone is on their own unique journey. And the way you will get to your destination, whatever it is that you want to achieve or be or do, it's going to be different for everyone. And when you can truly embrace you and not compare yourself to other people in an unhealthy way, that's when you're less likely to feel jealous. The next point, point number 4, how to stop being that jealous girlfriend, how to overcome jealousy, this feeling that is so uncomfortable, is to not make relationship your only goal in life, to not make a man your only goal in life. Being in a relationship is not the be all and the end all of your life. I know so often we've been sold this idea, especially as women, we fall into this trap. We've been guilty of it, to really believe that our happiness lies in finding a partner, in a man. So we've been brought up to believe that this is the only thing that we should have as our goal and our purpose. But when you do that, there's a danger of creating expectation on a person, putting pressure on this one thing to bring you happiness, to bring you fulfillment. And it's not fair. I remember there's one guy who I dated, and at the time he was a very busy person with his work, with his passions and his hobbies. And I didn't have anything else going on other than being in this relationship. So what ended up happening was I was putting all my focus, my energy in the relationship. I made it my purpose. I made it my goal. I made it the thing that I wanted my happiness to come from. And of course, it ended up in disaster. And in hindsight, I can see it's because really I was suffocating him. I had too much expectation from him to give me his time, his energy. I was jealous the fact that he was spending so much time with his work that he was passionate about, because I didn't have much going on in my own life. Have your own goals, have your own passions, because when you do that, you're less likely to feel jealous about your partner spending more time at work or anything else that he wants to do, because you have got your own thing going on that you can find to make you happy, that you're not going to always depend on him. And this is really important. I think it's so important if we can get into that frame of mind where it's okay to accept the worst case scenario, that if he was to leave you, you still be okay, because you got a life of your own. When you feel like you're so dependent on someone that if he's not going to be around, that's it, your life's going to come crumbling down, you won't survive. This is where the problem is. When you can learn to create a life for yourself, that no matter what, if a relationship comes and goes, of course you'll be upset, but you're okay still. You still have your own life. This is a healthy position to be in my opinion, because the truth is no relationship is guaranteed. No man in your life is guaranteed. Change is the only constant, and we cannot guarantee these things. So if you can build yourself up, create a life for yourself where you know how to make yourself feel happy, you're not depending on a relationship, not making it your end goal, your purpose, you're more likely to succeed in a relationship, because you're going to be less needy, and that is so much more attractive, and you're less likely to be jealous, overreacting in situations, because you got your own stuff going on. The next point number 5, how to not be that jealous girlfriend, is to lengthen the leash. What does this mean? This means that just be okay with allowing the other person to do what they want to do without having to obsess, without having to be controlling. Because the truth is, if we are in that kind of dynamic where we are feeling like we are imprisoned, any kind of situation where someone is trying to control us, being possessive, we are going to try and escape. And this works both ways for a man and a woman. This is what I find myself. The more someone allows me to be free, myself, trust me to not disrespect the relationship, the more I want to spend with this person, the more this person is attractive to me. And that's how it works vice versa. If your partner wants to spend a weekend with their friends, let them. If they want to go on a holiday with their friends, let them. You will see that they will appreciate you more for being open, for trusting them, and really, this will make them want to spend time with you more. The next point number 6, is to understand that we are humans. We're not robots, and it's okay if our partner is looking at someone else who's attractive, so long as they're not doing it in a very disrespectful way. I think before, I know this used to really bother me, and I have overreacted in certain situations. But unless they're not crossing any boundaries, looking at someone else who's attractive, it's harmless. We are humans. We have eyes. We do it as women. Of course, we're going to check out other handsome guys. It doesn't mean we suddenly have feelings for them and we want to be in a relationship with them, right? Once we can understand that, we can learn that this is actually harmless, unless they are actually doing something that's threatening the relationship, that's disrespectful, crossing boundaries. Then we should understand that this is okay. And in fact, sometimes maybe if we find a woman who's flirting with our partner, maybe we can turn that around and see it as something flattering. Other women like him, but actually he's coming home with me. You can change the narrative around and see it as something that to your benefit in a way. Sometimes we can be in our own head and be our own worst enemy, and we can sometimes overthink situations and think the worst. We start thinking that our partners will start fancying someone, but we need to understand that not everything is probably as bad as it seems. And it's normal to find other people attractive so long as there's no harm. These are my 6 points. I hope you found these tips useful. Let me know, do you get jealous over your partner? Are you someone who suffered from jealousy like I have in the past? I'd love to hear from you. Maybe you can also add a suggestion that I've not included in this video. Let me know, comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you're all doing really well. I'm sending you my love here from the UK, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.